say moving forward. And for me, how I got into photography, it was my outlet. I grew up in the ghetto of the Bronx, so for me, I was looking at things that were very harmful to the community and also too harmful to any adolescent growing up at the time that I was growing up. So I borrowed my mom's old Minolta camera, SRT 101, and I would have like a small stipend, and I would go and take pictures of what I saw at the time, and it was a way for me to escape because I was an introverted only child, and for me, I needed something to be able to express myself and how I can see things that made me feel better, because what I saw around me at the time was chaotic. So I would run away, so to speak, from my neighborhood and just go take pictures of people, and I would go take pictures, I would run, take my BMX bike and go into Yonkers, I would go to the Heights, or like go all the way downtown, and I would go with friends, and my friends at the time, who thankfully I'm still friends with most of them, I would photograph them, and they were my subjects. They were able to give me the opportunity to expose them in a way that was genuine, and expose them in a way that they were proud to see the final outcome of it. And then I knew at an early age, like, this is what I want to do. How do I do it? I don't understand, but I knew that this was my calling. So with that came, years of what we call hustling, years of understanding your craft, and I did the NYU route, I went to Tisch, focused on cinematography, and for me, it was understanding like, okay, I had an early stage of exposure to it, but now how can I become a master at lighting? How can I understand the technicalities of it, whether it's lenses, whether it's understanding electricity, whether it's understanding the actual framing, and interpret that and turn that into a way that's marketable. So those are like my roots. So I think my harsh times, and I think, my humble beginnings, because, I said it actually earlier today on Instagram, like because of seeing what I lacked, I knew that I per se wanted to expose myself to the world. And I wanted a career that involved travel. So therefore I just stuck with it. And I've worked for photographers as assistants, as PAs. Back in the day I would clean toilets, at production houses, but during those times, like, the walls could talk, so you're listening to other clients, you're educating, the language, you're understanding, like, what is marketable and sellable, and then you just introduce yourself. And I think at the end of the day, most of us are afraid to just really say what we want, and you just have to go and say, like, this is what I want, and this is what I'm looking to achieve. And you'd be surprised how many people actually want to do the same thing or want to see you win. So I encourage everyone, if you're not doing it, to keep doing that, and that's how I started. So, and now I work with big clients, and I'm very thankful for that. And managing relationships is important and key. I do small budgets up to $1.2 million budgets. The thing that I'm working on right now, I'm going to be working for Cadillac this weekend. I just came from a tech scout. Yeah, and I'm working with a really dope DP, and I'm thankful for that. That took years, and if you really want that to be the case, if you're looking to rush into it, it is a long-term commitment. It's a long-term relationship, and probably the longest relationship that you will have. How dare you? Minus yourself, in a relationship with yourself. And my ways of my forms of inspiration is, you gotta inspire yourself every day, whether it's going to museums or, speaking to Anna, like Anna, I'm a fan of your work, and talking amongst your peers, and you're all able to critique each other. So thank you very much. Yeah.
We're all looking at you. So my journey with photography started with my father. He is, I'm first generation American, but he came here when he was 3. And his father escaped to North Korea during the war. So my father's passion for photography, I think, was something that was handed down to me because I was the first in the family that could really pursue it. But it didn't start that way for me. I think photography, similarly, was an outlet for me. I'm mixed race, I'm bisexual, I have dual citizenship. So no matter what group I'm in, I'm pretty much always an outsider, which I don't find is a bad thing. I think that's probably what's made me a wallflower, and made me love the lens and love the camera, because it was my friend. I related to it. What it captured, what I framed up, was what was determining my reality. And that was something that I think I'm very blessed to have learned at a very young age. Because when you're looking the outside for who am I, what am I, where do I belong, and it's not really lining up for me, it was sort of a really quick realization. It's like, oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter because it's what I say. And so the camera, whether it's a moving image or a still image, is has been always my way to sort of navigate the world. And I've had lots of different interests. If you believe it or not, I did ballet for 10 years. I actually never told anybody on this team that. And then tennis and soccer, and I was always like, okay, that's cool, but I'm on to the next thing. And I would learn it and I would move on. And I think that's why the camera has always been by my side, has been my friend, because it can come with me no matter what my interest is, no matter what I want to say in the world, and it can be for me. I can take a photo that means a lot to me and nobody else will ever see it, and I don't need anybody else to see it. But I think that that's something that is why photography will follow me my entire life, even if my interests change, because it will always be a tool of communication, of empowerment, of empathy. It is biased, it's a frame, it's not fact, I've learned that. But, I think that my lens has always been something that has been about self-empowerment. So realigning that as I become more commercially successful is something that I'm constantly reconciling, but I think being involved in a community where you can bounce ideas off of others and ask those hard questions and get feedback in these rooms, and the rooms that H Plus creates, and the rooms that Holy Rod tries to create as well. But I think that
so my shortcut was to pick up a camera because I wanted to capture what's going on, but painting takes a while and I'm really impatient. So I just like, oh wait, what's this? Oh my god, it's just exactly what I see. So I don't have to wait 5-10 years to get really good at painting or drawing. I can just go to this. That's fantastic. Thank you, whoever created this beautiful tool. And actually, kind of like Leyla, I'm also a cinematographer and photographer. Photography first, and teaching me how to move from still to moving image. And also been learning how to dance and how to translate that to photography and cinematography. I think one of the great insights is actually running in my style program, because I've been meeting always dancers, and usually the way we start the service, we sit down with them and they kind of talk about what their vision for their career, and where do they see it, if that makes sense, yeah. I mean, there's a lot more, but we'll be here all day, and it's not
All day.
all night. I'm gonna stop.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow. How do I make this very succinct? Okay, so I think my journey in the arts started from when I was around 2-3 years old. My father was the first person to put a camera in my hand because we were a traveling family, and we traveled all over the world. And I was just blessed to have that type of experience growing up. My father wanted me to have a way to capture what I was seeing, and so I don't know, I think I was just very blessed to have the experience of having a camera in my hand and always being able to look at what was in front of me, and my father having the immense patience to help me through that process, also teaching me how to develop film and things like that. I grew up in an arts family, so my grandmother's house was always full of amazing people, from people like Pearl Primus to Catherine Dunham to Gordon Parks. And so listening to a variety of different people speak about their art and their approach to art is what then, I didn't know it at the time, but it's what kind of like seared into my brain my approach to art, and recognizing that something more could be done than what was already being done. So I think I just had a very blessed childhood, and I was able to take a lot of things and just put it into the art. I chose dance as my avenue, but then all throughout the years, dealing with different clients, projects, things like that. I don't know. I recognized there were some a variety of differences in how different photographers approach dance, the body, women, men, being able to consciously bring out. Like some photographers are just really great at being able to bring something out of their subject and make them, make the subject live, because remember, you're capturing this 1/10 of a second moment, and to be able to make a subject live in 1/10 of a second is an amazing skill set, and not everybody is able to do that, as you all know. I mean, sometimes a shot can be very flat. It can also not be able to emote anything. When you look at an image, you should be able to feel. You should be able to be transported through imagery, and I think it takes a certain type of photographer to be able to do that, and to be able to feel that. To be able to have the empathy to take that journey both with their subject, and then also with the people who are going to see their image. So that's the short version of my mentality relative to photography and the arts. It's been an honor to mentor that person over there, and and teach, kind of like share a lot of the things that I learned coming up from the different mentors that I had. From a child into adulthood. I don't know, I think the universe just dropped me in the middle of some really amazing people, and I didn't appreciate the amazingness of the people I was surrounded by until I got a lot older. They were just normal people to me, so it wasn't registering who I was around until I got much older, and then also realized that, the ideas that I have relative to art, and photography and cinematography and editing and all these different things are actually, were spurred by the amazing artists that I came up around. And I had some great mentors as a teenager. I started my company when I was a teenager. So I was just surrounded by a lot of great mentors who guided me towards being a successful entrepreneur. And each of them had their own different style, I guess, of doing that. I was surrounded primarily by women who were mentors, which probably then also explains why 90% of my staff is also female. But a lot of the men who mentored me as well, they often pushed me. No one ever told me that I was not capable of doing anything. No one told me I was. That the color of my skin was going to be an obstacle. As a matter of fact, they encouraged me to make sure that the color of my skin was something that was more powerful, and to stand behind it and to use it to push through a lot of the barriers that existed. And here I am 30 years later, I think I kind of did. So that's awesome. So yeah, that's my succinct journey to where I am right now.
Thank you. Okay, really quickly by show of hands. Okay, cool. So I wanted to start off with sort of a conversation with you all about developing the relationship as a photographer with your subject. How has that been for you in your process and your development as an artist? what is that experience like, and kind of like what have you learned from that so far? We'll all just keep looking at each other until somebody says something.
That's a very important question, and I don't even know. Can you say that one more time?
Sure, yeah, just like if you could describe how a relationship builds between photographer and their subject.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Certainly, yeah.
I think for me, it's not just about taking it. You can't take something from someone, and you can't take it of someone. You have to give, and it's a dual relationship where there's a level of trust, and boundaries are down because both of you are exposing yourself. And I think for me, that's the starting point of the relationship, where it's like I'm reciprocating what they are as well. And in order to get to that point, there has to be some form of communication, because I don't believe in just taking it. If it's street photography for inspiration, that's different because it's more of an open environment. But if there's a moment where I am asking someone, may I capture you, may I be able to show you what I see about you, I have to give you something about me as well. So there's an energy that I have to exchange between myself and that person, so that way we are trusting each other, so they feel comfortable. So for me, I think it comes from an emotional standpoint of getting my subject to understand that we are in this together, and we are going to also have a dialogue, and building that and leading up into it, as opposed to just going, let me expose who you are for my own vain reasons or portfolio, or like, look how cool this shot is, and no diss to that, but it's just not my cup of tea.
I feel like that's a very good point where you bring up the fact that like not making somebody like not doing it for like your portfolio, right? But actually doing it for the person.